I am standing in my empty apartment, holding an engagement ring between my fingers. 3 months ago, I was planning the perfect wedding. Jessica, my fiancée of 6 months, was a 27-year-old elementary school teacher with a smile that could light up a room. We had known each other for 4 years, met at a charity fundraiser, and I thought I had finally found someone who saw me, but I had always been invisible in my family. My older brother Dominic was the golden child, the one my mother Patricia constantly defended with the same tired phrase, "Dominic needs you to be understanding." I never imagined that being understanding would cost me everything. Before I tell you how everything fell apart, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If this story resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe, because what happens next taught me that blood does not always mean loyalty, and sometimes the hardest thing you will ever do is choose yourself. Now let me take you back to where it all began. Let me paint you a picture of what my life looked like before everything shattered. Jessica and I met 4 years ago at a charity fundraiser where she was organizing a school supplies drive for underprivileged kids. I was there representing my construction company, and something about the way she talked about her students, the genuine care in her voice, drew me in immediately. We started dating that fall, and it felt easy, natural, like coming home after a long day. 6 months ago, I proposed to her at Crater Lake during a camping trip. The morning sun was just breaking over the water, and when she said yes, I felt like the luckiest man alive. We set the wedding for October, booked a small vineyard in Willamette Valley, and spent evenings addressing invitations to our 80 guests. I had just been promoted to senior project manager at my firm, overseeing a major downtown Portland development project. We were renting a 2-bedroom apartment in Northwest Portland, already talking about buying a house after the wedding. My family dynamic had always been complicated. Dominic, my 35-year-old brother, was a sales manager at a tech company, though he had never held a job longer than 2 years. He lived in Seattle, but visited Portland frequently, always with some new crisis that needed solving. My mother Patricia, a retired nurse, who had been widowed for 8 years since my father died of a heart attack, treated Dominic like he was made of glass. Every family dinner, every holiday gathering, the conversation revolved around Dominic's latest struggle. His car broke down. His boss was unfair. His girlfriend left him. The pattern never changed. I had become the responsible one by default. I helped pay for Dominic's car repair last spring. I lent him $3,000 the year before, money I never saw again. Patricia's explanation was always the same. "Your brother has had a harder time adjusting since your father died." As if I had not lost a father too. As if my grief was somehow less valid because I handled it differently, because I did not fall apart. Dominic visited often enough that he and Jessica became friendly. They would join me for dinners at local restaurants, watch football games at sports bars, and I felt proud that my family liked her. Jessica seemed to enjoy his company too. "Your brother is so funny, so spontaneous," she would say. I took it as a good sign. At least my family likes her, I thought. What a fool I was. 3 weeks before the wedding, my work schedule became brutal. A major deadline loomed for the downtown project, and I was coming home at 9 or 10 p.m., most nights exhausted and stressed. Jessica seemed distant during those weeks, always on her phone smiling at texts, in a way that made something twist in my gut. When I asked about it, she had a ready answer. "Just wedding planning stuff with the bridesmaids." I trusted her completely. Why would I not? We were about to get married. 2 weeks before the wedding, we had a family dinner at Patricia's house in Beaverton. Dominic drove down from Seattle claiming he wanted to help with wedding preparations. During dinner, I noticed something odd. Jessica and Dominic kept exchanging glances across the table, quick looks that seemed to carry weight. Dominic refilled Jessica's wine glass before I could reach for the bottle. Patricia gushed about how wonderful it was that Dominic was so involved, how he had always been good at celebrations. I felt a weird knot forming in my stomach, but pushed it away. I am being paranoid, I told myself. Stress from work was making me see things that were not there. 1 week before the wedding, I came home early from a site visit around 7 p.m., instead of my usual late return. Jessica was not home. She had texted earlier saying she was at the venue doing a final walkthrough with the coordinator. I ordered takeout and settled in to review some blueprints. At 8 p.m., The venue coordinator called, asking about a detail regarding the seating arrangements. When I mentioned Jessica was supposed to be there, the coordinator sounded confused. "She left 3 hours ago," the woman said. "We finished everything by 5. My chest tightened. When Jessica came home at 9:30, her hair was slightly messy, her cheeks flushed. I asked where she had been. She did not miss a beat. Sarah was her maid of honor. The explanation seemed reasonable, but something felt off. The next day I called Sarah casually, just checking in about the bachelor party plans. She mentioned being swamped with work. "We have not hung out in 2 weeks," she said. I kept my voice steady as we talked, but inside alarm bells were screaming. The bachelor party was planned for that weekend. My friends had organized a low-key trip to Bend hiking brewery tours, nothing wild. We were leaving Thursday night and coming back Sunday. Jessica had encouraged me to go. "You deserve a break before all the wedding craziness," she said, kissing my cheek. Dominic had said he could not join because of a work commitment in Seattle. Everything seemed normal. Everything was a lie. Thursday night at 10 p.m. My best friend Marcus called. His father had suffered a stroke and was in the hospital. The trip was canceled. Everyone understood, of course. We agreed to postpone to the following weekend. I drove back home from Marcus's place, where we had all gathered before the planned departure. I arrived at my apartment around 11:30 p.m., earlier than anyone expected me. The lights in the apartment were on. I heard voices, laughter coming from inside. My key turned in the lock quietly. In the entryway I saw Jessica's shoes, and next to them a pair of men's Nike Air Max sneakers size 11. I recognized them immediately. I had been with Dominic when he bought them 2 months ago. My heart started pounding so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. I walked down the hallway toward the bedroom. The door was slightly ajar. What I saw through that opening destroyed everything I thought I knew about the people I loved. For exactly 5 seconds I stood frozen in the hallway. My brain tried to make sense of what my eyes were seeing, tried to find some innocent explanation that did not exist. Then, something inside me snapped into cold, deadly focus. I pushed the bedroom door fully open. Jessica screamed and grabbed for the sheets. Dominic's face went pale, his mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air. "Dude, I can explain," he said, scrambling to find his clothes. The words were so absurd, so inadequate that I almost laughed. My voice, when it came out, was steady, calmer than I had ever heard it. "Get out. Both of you. Now." My hands were shaking, there was a ringing in my ears like I was standing too close to an explosion, but my words were clear and cold as winter water. Jessica was crying, mascara running down her face. "Augustine, please, it just happened, we did not mean to." Dominic pulled on his jeans, his movements frantic. "Man, we have been drinking, it is not what it looks like." I stared at him, this person who shared my blood, who I had defended and supported, and loved my entire life. "You have 5 minutes before I call the police for trespassing," I said. They left. Jessica tried to grab my arm as she passed, and I stepped back like she was diseased. Dominic paused at the door. "Can we talk tomorrow? When everyone is calmer." I slammed the door in his face and stood alone in my apartment. The silence was deafening. I noticed details I had missed in the shock, a wine bottle on the kitchen counter, Dominic's favorite brand. Jessica's dress draped over the couch. These were not the marks of a spontaneous mistake. This was planned. This was comfortable. This was routine. I did not sleep that night. Instead, I went through Jessica's phone. We had always known each other's passwords, a gesture of trust that now felt like the sickest joke. In her recently deleted folder, I found messages between her and Dominic going back 3 months. They started after a family barbecue at Patricia's house in July. Flirty at first, then explicit, then detailed. The most recent message was from yesterday afternoon. "Cannot wait for tomorrow night. Augustine will be gone all weekend." They had been planning this. They had been counting on my absence. Friday morning, my phone rang at 7 a.m. Patricia's name lit up the screen. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. Dominic had driven straight to her house after leaving my apartment. "Augustine, we need to talk," she said. Her voice was tight, controlled. "There is nothing to talk about," I replied. "Do not be dramatic. These things happen. Jessica made a mistake." The words hit me like a physical blow. A mistake. As if she had forgotten to pick up milk at the store. "You do not understand," I said. "They have been having an affair for 3 months. "You do not know that," Patricia said. "You are jumping to conclusions. You need to calm down and think clearly. Saturday morning, Patricia insisted I come to her house. She said we needed to have a family meeting to talk things through like adults. I went hoping against hope that my mother would finally see me, finally take my side for once in my life. I pulled up to her house in Beaverton, the same house I grew up in, and saw Dominic's car already in the driveway. My stomach dropped. Inside, Dominic sat on the couch, looking sheepish but not remorseful. Jessica was not there. Patricia explained she thought it better if Jessica did not come. Better for whom I did not ask. Patricia sat us both down at the kitchen table like we were children who had fought over a toy. You're brothers, she began. Family is forever. Your father would want you to forgive each other. I sat quietly, trying to process what I was hearing. Dominic admitted he has been struggling with depression, she continued. He made a poor choice. Jessica told me she has been having cold feet about the wedding, feeling confused. These things happen in relationships. It does not mean you cannot work through it. I stared at my mother, this woman who had raised me, and felt like I was looking at a stranger. Work through it, I repeated. Mom, she cheated on me with my brother for 3 months. You have always been the strong one, the reasonable one, Patricia said. I need you to be that now. Dominic needs support, not judgment. What about what I need? The question came out quietly. Patricia looked at me like I was being difficult. You are hurt, I understand, but you will heal. Dominic is more fragile. He needs us right now. Dominic finally spoke. I am sorry, man. I never wanted to hurt you. It just happened. How many times did it just happen, I asked. He looked away. See, Patricia said. You are being aggressive. This is why Dominic could not come to you. The absurdity of it was stunning. I was being aggressive. I was the problem, not the brother who slept with my fiancée, not the mother who was defending him. I think you should postpone the wedding, Patricia said. Take some time. See if you and Jessica can work through this. The words hung in the air like poison gas. Work through this. She slept with my brother. Marriage is hard, Patricia said. This is a test. If you really love her, you will fight for it. What about Dominic? I asked. Does he face any consequences? He is already suffering, Patricia replied. Look at him. I looked at Dominic. He did look miserable, but I realized with sudden clarity that he was not remorseful. He was just uncomfortable. There was a difference. I am asking you as your mother to forgive your brother, Patricia said. For the sake of this family. If you cannot do that, if you are going to hold this grudge, then I do not know if I can support you. The ultimatum landed like a bomb. Support me, I said. I am the victim here. There are no victims, only a family in crisis, she replied. I have already lost your father. I cannot lose my sons over this. Choose Augustine. Your anger or your family. In that moment, sitting at the table where we had eaten 1,000 family dinners, where my father had taught me to tie my shoes, where I had done homework and celebrated birthdays, everything became crystal clear. My entire life, I had been the one to compromise. I had given up my first-choice college to stay close to home when Dominic was struggling after high school. I had lent money I never got back. I had listened to hours of Dominic's problems and drama. I had always been understanding. And this was my reward. I stood up. The chair scraped against the linoleum floor. I choose myself, I said. Patricia's face went pale. What does that mean? It means I am done. With Dominic. With Jessica. And if you cannot see how wrong this is, then with you too. Come on, do not be like that, Dominic said. You do not get to tell me how to react to you destroying my life, I replied. I walked out of that house and never looked back. That Saturday afternoon, I sat in my car outside Patricia's house for 10 minutes, gripping the steering wheel, breathing deeply. Then I started making calls. First, I called the Vineyard venue and canceled the wedding. The coordinator was sympathetic but firm about the cancellation policy. I lost the $4,000 deposit. I did not care. Next, I composed a group message to all 80 wedding guests. Wedding is canceled due to infidelity. Thank you for your understanding. Gifts already received will be returned. I hit send and turned off my phone for an hour. When I turned it back on, there were 60 messages. Most were supportive. Some were shocked. A few asked for details I did not provide. I called Jessica. She answered on the first ring, hope in her voice. Augustine, come, get your things from the apartment by Monday or I am donating them, I said. Can we please talk? No. I hung up and blocked her number immediately. Then I called a locksmith. By Sunday morning, the locks on my apartment were changed. Jessica's key no longer worked. Sunday afternoon, Jessica showed up with her sister Emily to collect her belongings. I had spent the morning packing everything of hers into boxes, which I stacked by the door. When they arrived, I stayed in the bedroom with the door closed. I could hear Jessica crying in the living room, hear her sister trying to comfort her. At one point, Emily knocked on the bedroom door. "You are being cruel," she said. "He is being cruel," I called back through the door. "That is Rich." They left after 20 minutes. The apartment felt lighter, without her things in it. The engagement ring sat on my dresser. I had bought it for $6,000, saved for 8 months to afford it. Monday morning I took it to the jeweler, where I had purchased it. The owner, an older man with kind eyes, listened to my story. "I am sorry, son," he said. "We do not do returns, but I can offer you store credit." I looked at the ring, this symbol of a future that never existed. "Can you remove the diamond and reset it into something else?" I asked. The jeweler nodded. I had him reset it into a simple pendant. Then I donated it to a local women's shelter for their fundraiser auction. Let something good come from this disaster, I thought. Word spread through my social circle quickly. My friends rallied around me, with the fierce loyalty I needed. Marcus said what others were thinking. I never liked Dominic anyway. Something was always off about him. My work colleagues sent supportive messages and gave me space when I needed it. Jessica's friends tried to reach out, probably sent by her to plead her case. I blocked every single one. I was done being understanding. I was done making excuses for people who hurt me. Jessica's situation deteriorated rapidly. She taught at a small private elementary school in Northeast Portland, the kind of place where the parents all knew each other, and gossip spread like wildfire. Within a week, everyone knew the story. The teacher who cheated on her fiancé with his brother. Parents started complaining to the principal, worried about moral character and setting examples. By the end of October, Jessica was asked to resign to avoid disruption. The official statement said she was pursuing other opportunities. Everyone knew the truth. She moved back in with her parents in Eugene, tail between her legs. Patricia called me repeatedly. I did not answer. She showed up at my apartment twice. I did not open the door. She left voicemails that started pleading and ended angry. "You are tearing this family apart," she said in one. "You are being selfish and vindictive. You are no better than what they did to you." I finally responded via text. "I did not tear anything. Dominic did. You chose to defend him. Live with that choice." Then I blocked her number too. The family rift grew wider. Patricia's siblings, my Aunt Linda and Uncle Robert, heard the full story and were appalled. Aunt Linda called me one evening in November. "Your mother is wrong," she said flatly. "What Dominic did is unforgivable. What she did defending him is almost worse." Uncle Robert echoed the sentiment. "I am proud of you for standing up for yourself," he told me. "Most people would not have the strength." The family divided cleanly. Patricia's generation tried to stay neutral or take her side, while my cousins all supported me completely. Patricia's friends from church started asking questions when I stopped appearing at family events. She became defensive, insisting it was a private family matter. But in a community as tight-knit as ours, nothing stayed private for long. 2 months after the incident, I heard through Aunt Linda that Dominic and Jessica had started dating publicly. Patricia was apparently thrilled. "See," she had told Aunt Linda. "It was meant to be. They are in love." The information hit me with less impact than I expected. I was already moving on, already building a new life. Let them have each other, I thought. They deserved each other. But karma has a way of working itself out. Dominic's tech company started downsizing in November. His sales numbers, which had been mediocre for months, made him an easy target for layoffs. He was let go in early December, just before Christmas. He applied for unemployment and could no longer afford his Seattle apartment. By January, he had moved back in with Patricia in Beaverton, sleeping in his childhood bedroom like a teenager. Meanwhile, Jessica and Dominic's relationship was crumbling. 4 months of dating revealed what I could have told them. Relationships built on betrayal have rotten foundations. Jessica's parents disapproved strongly of Dominic. She was depressed, unemployed, living with her parents. He was unemployed, living with his mother. They fought constantly. By February, they broke up in a spectacular fight that Aunt Linda heard about through Patricia's neighbor. In March, Jessica's mother called me. I should have let it go to voicemail, but curiosity got the better of me. She made a terrible mistake, the woman said without preamble. She knows that now. Would you consider talking to her? I hung up without responding and blocked that number too. Patricia's reality became increasingly bleak. Dominic was living with her full-time, no job, no prospects, no motivation to change. He stayed in his childhood bedroom playing video games and scrolling through his phone. Patricia worked part-time at a medical clinic to support them, both watching her retirement savings dwindle month by month. She called me in late March from a number I did not recognize. "Your brother needs help," she said when I answered. "Can you lend him money for a certification course? It might help him get a better job." "No," I said simply. "Please," Patricia said, her voice breaking. "I cannot afford it. My savings are almost gone." "You made your choice," I told her. "He is your responsibility now." "But I am your mother," she cried. "A mother protects all her children, not just her favorite," I replied. "Goodbye." I hung up and blocked that number too. Aunt Linda told me later that Patricia had started withdrawing from her social circles. She stopped attending her book club when the whispers grew too loud. "Can you believe she defended the son who did that?" people asked. She stopped going to family events because the judgment in people's eyes was too heavy to bear. Her church friends gradually distanced themselves. By spring, Patricia had exactly what she wanted: Dominic, her golden child, the son she had chosen to protect, and he gave her nothing but bills, complaints, and an empty future. 6 months after everything fell apart, my life looked completely different. I had thrown myself into work with renewed focus. The downtown Portland project was completed ahead of schedule and under budget, earning the company significant recognition. In April, I was promoted again, this time to Director of Operations. The raise was substantial. I moved out of the Northwest Portland apartment, too many memories haunting those rooms, and found a place in the Pearl District. The new apartment was bigger, modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. It felt like a fresh start. I started therapy in January, covered by my company's insurance. My therapist, a woman named Dr. Martinez, helped me process not just the betrayal but the deeper family trauma. We talked about golden child dynamics, about how growing up in Dominic's shadow had shaped me, about learning to value myself. The work was hard, but necessary. For the first time, I understood that what happened was not my fault. I had not driven Jessica into Dominic's arms. Their choices belonged to them alone. I was not rushing into another relationship. I went on dates, met people through friends and apps, but I was careful. Building trust would take time. In March, I started rock climbing at a gym in Southeast Portland. That is where I met Kate. She was 29, an architect with a sharp wit and an easy smile. We started climbing together, then grabbing coffee after. By April, we were dating casually. She knew my story. I had been upfront about what I had been through. She appreciated my honesty and respected my boundaries. We were taking things slow, building something on a foundation of genuine trust. My friendships deepened in ways I had not expected. Marcus and I started hiking every other weekend, exploring trails throughout Oregon. Game nights with my friend group became a regular Thursday tradition. These people who owed me nothing showed up for me in ways my blood family never had. I realized I had been building a chosen family all along without recognizing it. I maintained no contact with Patricia and Dominic. I had blocked them on every platform, changed my phone number, made myself unreachable. Aunt Linda updated me occasionally when we met for lunch. Dominic finally got a job in May, she told me. Retail, barely minimum wage, but it was something. He was still living with Patricia. They were still struggling. I felt nothing hearing this news. Not satisfaction, not pity, just a distant recognition of facts that no longer concerned me. Standing in my new apartment on a Friday evening in late May, looking out at the city lights of Portland stretching toward the horizon, I felt at peace for the first time in years. The betrayal had been devastating, but it had also been clarifying. I learned that setting boundaries was not cruel, it was necessary. I learned the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. You can release anger without allowing toxic people back into your life. I learned that blood does not obligate you to accept mistreatment. Some bridges need to be burned, not out of revenge, but out of self-preservation. Protecting yourself is not selfish. It is survival. Family should be chosen as much as given. When parents play favorites, they do not just damage one child. They destroy the whole family structure brick by brick. and walking away from that destruction, refusing to keep rebuilding what others tear down, that is an act of self-love. I was no longer waiting for an apology that would never come. I did not need one anymore. Patricia would never admit she was wrong. Dominic would never truly be sorry. Jessica would always blame circumstances instead of her choices, and that was okay. Their inability to grow was not my responsibility to fix. I had built a life based on respect, honesty, and genuine connection. I had friends who valued me, work that challenged me, a future I was excited about. The best revenge was not some elaborate scheme. It was simply moving forward and thriving. I did not just survive what they did to me. I chose myself, and that choice saved my life. If you are in a situation where family demands you shrink to make others comfortable, remember this. You do not owe anyone your peace, not even the people who share your blood. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. Sometimes burning every bridge is the only way to stop people from following you into a better future. I burned mine, and I have never looked back. So let me ask you, have you ever had to choose yourself over family? Have you ever walked away from people you loved because staying was destroying you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story connected with you, if it made you think about your own boundaries and choices, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more real stories about life, family, and finding the courage to protect your peace. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. I hope it helps someone out there realize they are not alone. Take care of yourselves, and remember, you deserve people who choose you back. Until next time.